Anyway, I mentioned earlier that the drive-by media today was filled with stories that get close to referring to the Obama administration as Jimmy Carter-esque. And one of them runs in the Washington Post today. It's by Aaron Blake, and the headline, "The New American Malaise." And I do recall, I said early on, even before Obama was inaugurated, that the Obama administration was going to be the second term of Jimmy Carter. The Jimmy Carter presidency was an absolute disaster for this country. Economically, in terms of foreign policy, it was an acknowledged absolute disaster. Everybody agrees. And now we got the drive-bys coming along and referring to the new American malaise. The malaise word, that word was invented by Jimmy Carter after Pat Caddell presented him with a poll. Pat Caddell was Jimmy Carter's pollster. And Pat Caddell had taken a poll, and he was very, very distressed. It was back in 1979, near the end of Jimmy Carter's presidency. Pat Caddell explained the state of the American public in a memo to Carter. What he said was that for the first time, we actually got numbers in our poll where people no longer believed that the future of America was going to be as good as it was now. And that really shook me because it was so at odds with the American character. Caddell, in other words, was admitting that he personally was distressed by the poll result. That here we were in 1979, so we're in the third year of the Carter presidency, and people are so despondent that they have concluded America's best days were behind them. And the same thing's happening today. You get the same result in polling questions today. People today, even in greater numbers. That's what this business of the American dream is over. Or the American dream doesn't even exist. That's what that's all about. Gave birth to the Tea Party in 2010. All of this spending is robbing future generations of their opportunity to succeed and to create their own wealth. Caddell said back in 1979 that Americans were suffering from a crisis of confidence that needed to be addressed by the president. So Caddell got this poll. He looks at it. He sees the American people are in a state of despondence. They're thinking America's best days are behind them. He takes the poll to Carter, and he says, this has to be addressed by the president. We have a crisis of confidence. And that's when Carter delivered what came to be known as the malaise speech. He didn't actually use the word, but the way he described the country was such that that was the word that people began to use. So now where are we? Well, today we have a New York Times poll that shows only 64% of the American people believe in the American dream. That is the lowest that number has been since 1996. Just 64, not even two-thirds, believe in the American dream. Another poll from the Pew Research Center shows that 49% of Americans said they expect next year to be better than this year. And that's the lowest that has been since the recession. Just 49% think next year will be better. So to recap all this, Americans have hit low points on their belief in our country's main economic principle. And that main economic principle is, of course, hard work pays off in the end. People are losing faith, and the numbers on it are as low as they have been either since 1996 or 1979. And their general feelings about life and their faith in government are also way down, and that just about covers it. And the numbers parallel, or maybe are a little even worse than they were during Jimmy Carter's term, hence this being Jimmy Carter's second term. And then there's an accompanying story, also in the Washington Post. And the headline here, Democrats are learning to loathe themselves just like Republicans. And in this story, there is a reference to a general malaise. Democrats have lower self-esteem than Republicans. 76% of Democrats like their party compared to 78% of Republicans who like their party. The Democrat brand, according again to polling data, as expressed in this story, Democrat brand is at a 3-year low, 39% favorable. And here's the paragraph. Instead, the Democrats' increasingly dim view of their own party, of their own side, seems to be more about a general kind of malaise. And then here's another story. I know they get everything they wanted. They're never happy. That's the point. When the liberals, when the Democrats get what they want, they're never happy. You know, the basic reason for that is what they want doesn't work. That has to be a reason why there is so much rage and anger now. I mean, they've had 6 years of Wonder Boy. 6 years of this messianic figure. 6 years of hope and change. This guy was going to change everything about politics. He was going to get rid of all the bad stuff. It's worse than ever. Liberals are confronted every day with the realization that what they believe doesn't work. Now, they don't admit that to themselves. They blame everybody else for that. But it still manifests itself in a state of malaise, unhappiness, disaffectedness. And it never will work. They never will be happy. There never will be utopia. There never will be income equality. There never will be total, unending fairness. There never will be total, unending equality, particularly of outcomes. There never will be any of the things that they pretty much define their happiness as requiring. It'll never happen. The things they want are humanly impossible. Another Washington Post story. Work hard, get rich? Maybe not anymore. Last time the polls questioned America like this was the recession in 1983, coming off of Jimmy Carter. Less than 2/3 of the American. This is a Chris Cillizza story. This is 3 stories in the Washington Post. Now, the timing of these stories, got to take a break. The timing of these stories, they all come after the election. That's very important. They are meant to be tied to the Republican victory, folks. Back after this.